All right, the first thing we're going to talk about is how communities fit into the customer value journey. So as you've been going through this course, you're already pretty familiar with the customer value journey. It's where all of digital marketers education goes back to for a very important reason. Your customers have to be courted in a way that aligns with the current stage of your relationship. For that same reason, your community must have a purpose that aligns with a specific stage of the customer value journey. For example, you wouldn't create an advocate, promote stage group for people who have no experience with you or your product, or have even heard of your market. But you will find the communities can be created to support every single stage of the customer value journey. So it's really just up to you to select a stage that best aligns with what your customers need. First, we'll start with aware and engaged communities. You'll find a lot of groups at this stage because they're usually the easiest for building brand and product solution awareness. The benefits are that they're usually pretty easy to join and connect with others. There's lots of members, so it increases the likelihood of getting an answer or making a connection. The brand can also rely on members to be an open source of feedback and information, but there can be a few drawbacks. Fluidity of members creates less of a commitment to the community, increasing member turnover, and less opportunities for deeper connections to be built among members. This is an example of an aware and engaged group. This is the GoPro Support Hub. It's a forum for people who own GoPros to talk about what they're doing with them. It's a place for adventure seekers to go and talk about the videos that they create and to get answers for using GoPro devices. And what I really love about this group is it tells you right on the front page exactly what it's for. So when you go and search for this group, you'll land here and it will tell you exactly what you're going to get out of the experience. It's also really clean, and the navigation makes it really simple for people who might be new to the experience to get answers to their questions or to do posts or to just see what other people in the community have to say. This is an example of how the forums are built out. So you can see that they're titled. It's really easy for people to find common questions that they might have, or just be able to scroll through and see questions or that they might not even know that they had yet. So what you'll see with aware and engaged communities is that they're really easy for people to find solutions and post when they need to, or just scroll through and find answers to questions that they might even not know that they had. Next, I want to talk about subscribe and convert communities. These are the trickiest because it's not natural for people to bond over products. So this type of community has to turn traditionally transactional relationships into emotional ones in order to create conversations. And you want these conversations to happen naturally so that members can benefit from the content that's happening in the group. So, just to recap, people don't like being sold to. That's kind of the natural thing about marketing. You have to turn the transactional relationship into an emotional one. So you want to be able to position the group as an element of value for the members. This is a great example of a subscribe and convert group. It's called the Sephora Beauty Insider Community, and it's a group for people who love beauty products or love to talk about makeup or to talk about hair and skin products. And it's a great place for them to go. Even if they've never purchased products from Sephora, they might already be aware because it's such a well-known name in beauty and skin and hair care. So they can go and talk about, have conversations about the products that they've purchased or products that they're interested in. They could talk about the looks that they're creating, and really just it's a space for them to get creative. And what I really like about it is the fact that it is behind a bit of a barrier. You do have to create a login to be able to see the conversations, but it's a great way for the brand to be able to get that information and then not necessarily sell inside the community, but they can send you emails and provide information about products that way. But when you're inside the community, you're really talking to other members about beauty and about makeup and they're having those conversations about things that are fun and important to them. So they're not selling inside the community, but the conversations can naturally lead there as members are talking about the products that they're using and the looks that they're creating. Next, I want to talk about Excite and Ascend communities. These are usually post-purchase or sign-up, so the members are typically already aware of the solution or aware of the brand. And they're really just looking to share their experiences, to share their strategies, or to get advice, or to get or share info about what they're experiencing so far. So this is an example of an Excite and Ascend group. This is Digital Marketer Engage. It is the private Facebook community for subscribers to the Digital Marketer Lab platform. When you go to join the group, we just ask you a really simple barrier of entry question. What's the email address that you use to sign up for Lab? And that helps kind of create the exclusivity of the community. Everybody in here is very aware of what Lab is because they've already purchased it. But what the group is about is not about Lab. It's about marketing and business related questions. So the group is positioned as something that's a specific resource for our product, but the conversations happening inside Engage are not necessarily about the product itself. So what we say on our description for the group is Digital Marketer is the go-to community for Digital Marketer Lab members to get answers to any questions related to digital marketing and growing your business online. So you can see right from the get-go what these conversations are going to be about. And this is a little bit of an example about the conversations that are happening inside the group. People are talking about tools that I've heard about. They're talking about best ways to use those tools related to digital marketing. They have questions about best ways to spend their budget. So it's conversations that you might find answers to questions in Digital Marketer Lab, but the conversations are mostly happening between members who are just trying to excel in their business and get ahead with the strategies that people are discussing inside the group. The next thing I'm going to talk about are advocate and promote communities. These communities consist mostly of brand ambassadors, affiliates, and super users, and they're generally the people who have the most positive things to say about you. They're not as popular as Aware and Engage and Excite and Ascend communities, but they're still a great resource to tap into. Members are typically asked to represent the brand online and within the community in exchange for perks like swag and early access to product launches. They're almost like liaisons, which makes them an incredibly trusted segment of the community, not only for other community members, but for people who run the brand as well. Let's take a look at an example of an advocate and promote group. This group is for the website allrecipes.com, and allrecipes.com is a website for people who are really excited about sharing recipes and skills and strategies for making all sorts of foods at home. But it actually consists of a smaller subset of elite super users called All Recipes All-Stars. All-Stars have to apply to be in the program against very strong criteria, but because of the intense barrier of entry, it makes them incredibly trusted by other users of the website. So when you see that there's an All Recipes All-Star person who's posted a recipe, you're going to automatically think that it must be a really great recipe and you're going to trust it a little bit more. So All-Stars, when they sign on to be part of this kind of elite squad, they're asked to do things like create really specific recipes, work with the brand on cross-promotional campaigns. They're also asked to represent online and social media, and they're just kind of this, again, an elite super group that is really, really trusted to promote the brand in a very specific, positive way. So the next thing I want to talk to you about is this really cool thing called the halo effect. And what that is it's where your group might actually start members at the aware and engage stage, but because they're able to build connections and build relationships, they can actually naturally progress through the customer value journey inside your group, even though it might not necessarily be at that stage. So what does that mean? You have an aware and engage group and your members come in, they're learning a little bit more, they build relationships, they're really excited, and they naturally ascend and might purchase more, and then they'll continue to ascend and they might become promoters or advocates. And that's a really, really cool and exciting thing, but it's also really important to remember that no one community has the ability to move customers the entire way through the customer value journey. What's really important is that you select a stage of the customer value journey that your community can best serve its members. And just the halo benefit basically just becomes a really cool side effect of the success of your group. It's able to meet members at one stage of the customer value journey and naturally progress them through on its own because they have a wonderful experience. And that's quite possibly the best thing that your members can expect from joining a community. It's a really, really exciting side effect of creating a community that just does amazing things for its members, and that's the best thing that you can possibly hope for.